Today on What Went Wrong, we talk about some legal Hi, I'm Brett Mauser, and I've made over 40 feature films. And one of the things, especially with this series that we've run into in a couple issues ourselves, is copyright violations. And this is, of course, something that I feel very strongly about on both sides.
Yeah.
I understand the need for intellectual property protection, but I also know the need of public domain and the ability to continue our culture. And fortunately, a lot of things are starting to come into public domain from the 1920s now. We're going to have access to these creative works and a shared creative outlet that we can all have. But especially when it comes to critiquing or what we do on this show, sometimes refer to other films and whatnot. And we want to show clips from a movie that we may be talking about. But to us, it's just not worth the risk anymore. And this is something that you ran into a lot. And from a legal standpoint, we are well within our rights to use footage in certain aspects, in certain areas, in certain ways. And this falls under what's called fair use protection. And it's in the copyright. It's actually in Section 107 of the Copyright Act. And there are several different things that you can legally use other people's intellectual property for, and as long as it's in a limited and transformative way, and that's sort of that legalese. And in the areas such as to comment on, to criticize, or parody. And
also education.
And education. And me as a teacher, I'm actually not allowed to, though, in my aspect, because the school that I teach at is a for-profit university. You actually have to be a not-for-profit university to be able to take advantage of the Fair Use Educational Act. So for a film school, they're not actually allowed to show films in their classes unless they get these these.
It's got to be somebody. Their job is to go to the class. They got like the baseball cap and sunglasses. Hey, professor, I'll do anything for an A. If it's sitting in the back of the class and screaming at you that you can't show that movie to people.
But yes, you're absolutely right. Educational, and this is something I get on my film students about. And when they're just doing something for their film class, they'll put copywritten music in it and everything. I try to dissuade them from doing that because I don't want them to get in the habit of that.
Right.
But it's not. They're definitely allowed to, as long as it's shown in the classroom and it's just for that. But they can't put it on YouTube. That's a violation. Now, there are times where I've used copywritten music in some of my trailers, but I've done that legally through their YouTube monetization thing, like for our trailer "Blow a Kiss."
Right.
We have some music in there that's
Can't remember the name of that song, but
it was
I remember how
"Blow
it goes. See, now I broke
Blow a Kiss, Fire Gun. Is it Blow a Kiss?
I don't remember what that's how it goes.
Blow a Kiss, Fire Gun. But yeah, and all we did was allowed them to take all the ad revenue. So
$5.
Yeah.
Good luck, guys. Go
yeah.
get a
Have fun with that. Go with
a long sub. Not you're not going to cover taxes though. Take a couple dollars with you. You're going to want some chips and a drink too.
But I do read my students the riot act when they do use the copywritten music, because there's so many myths going around, like, well, as long as it's 7 seconds. No, that's not the case. But so educational, to comment on, to criticize, and to parody. And you've run into, and now, when you first started out, you would have clips of the movies that you were responding to. And I thought that really helps with your episodes.
It's something that I wanted to do, showing, because if you were to say there's a new Avengers movie coming out, quite literally, whoever the primaries are, I mean, it wouldn't be Captain America and whoever, but people would recognize the actors. When Batman vs. Superman came out, they showed the trailer that was 2.5 minutes long, and as much as I do like the movie, other people don't, and to those people I say, suck on my nuts. I like the movie. I enjoy it. I didn't say it was Citizen Kane. But I will admit, that trailer, I was not surprised by a damn thing that happened in that movie. I seen it. But with something like Red Days, or The Schoolgirl Apocalypse, I love Gun Woman, or they did a remake of Plan 9 from outer space and called it Plan 9. if you were to say that movie's coming out, you need to show them a little something in that trailer. For Batman vs. Superman, you could have just had Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck, not even in costume, just like, and then walk up 10 seconds. That's all you needed. People would have gone to see the movie. Would they still have been satisfied with it? I don't care. But for something like this, when I'm doing the critique, we were talking off the camera, some YouTubers, they'll just stand in front of the green screen and yakety yak yak yak, and maybe they'll show the poster art. When I'm doing it, I'm talking about movies nobody's ever heard of, or fewer people have heard of. So when I'm saying, okay, so I really like the zombie makeup, I can show a little bit of it. I'm trying not to spoil the whole damn thing. I would limit what I show, how long the clips were, how many clips there were. 30 to 50 seconds was what I was aiming for. I wasn't worried about copyright. I knew about fair use. Apparently, I'm the only goddamn one. But I didn't want to spoil the movie. It was the whole point. I didn't want to show you everything happening. But if I said, it's claymation and it looks really good, well, here's a little bit of what that looks like. The spaceships look like cardboard cutouts being flung across a backyard. This is what I mean. And that was really helpful. And I think that's what drove a lot of people to watch the videos. Or it was my dulcet tones and my sense of humor. Maybe they were imagining what I look like without pants on. There's some weirdos out there, I'll tell you what. But being able to show that actually led to some back and forth, positive and negative. I did a movie called Bubba the Redneck Werewolf, which after what I called The Purge, I didn't redo. And I said the makeup on the werewolf was actually pretty impressive because he could articulate. He scrunches his nose and the nose would move. And that means something to me. It means the actor underneath can emote. Somebody disagreed with me. And we went so far as to say it's opinion-based. I liked it, you didn't. That's too goddamn bad. I can watch it and enjoy it. You can't. That's too goddamn bad. But I can't show that now. Well, I guess I could, but it's not worth going through all that. If somebody puts... we should say that there's a difference between a copyright claim and a copyright strike.
Yeah.
I had several copyright claims which ended up being useless. In a copyright claim, they'll say, that's my copyrighted material. Any money you make off it, I get. Fine.
All of it. 100% too.
All of it. Well, great. I got 18 views on my video. Good luck with the exactly nothing. A Vietnamese dong is worth more than that. They actually call their money dong, and I think that's hilarious. 2 million Vietnamese dong is worth 85 American dollars. Make a dick joke if you feel. But then what they would also do is, on YouTube, it's like, you watch this video, what about these videos? They would put, if it was in the YouTube library, you could watch the movie. Well, great. That's exactly what I wanted you to do. So when they claim it, they would monetize it, and it wasn't a problem. But a copyright strike is, that's my copyrighted material, go eat a dick. And they would just take the video down. And I forget what the time period is. It's less than a year, but if you get 3 strikes, they'll clear all of your videos off. Every last one, not just the ones that got a copyright strike. You can appeal both of these through YouTube to the copyright holder, who already thinks they're in the right, so they're going to tell you to eat the aforementioned dick. And then you can appeal the denial of your original appeal, and this is your only other shot. You don't get 3 strikes on this one. And they'll still tell you to munch on a penis.
Yeah.
So what can you do? Well, what started, the claims were one thing. I know who did it. It was a studio, apparently a pretty big one too. I didn't know that. But I didn't know they were responsible for the movies. I knew who they were. But the strike came on a movie I will call out by name. Not the person who actually got all the videos taken down. This was not their fault. Because this movie is abhorrent garbage. I use that term a lot because it's true. Rogue Warrior Robot Fighter is a science fiction fantasy adventure film tripping across the galaxy. Very Star Wars meets Star Trek meets fucking Hunger Games. Potentially the story itself. Probably couldn't have been half bad if you made a trilogy out of it, but there's a lot of story to cram into one movie. Then the acting is terrible, the script is borderline retarded, and the acting is horrible, and the script is stupid, and the actual plot line of the film is very convoluted. The props look like toys wrapped in tinfoil. It's directionless garbage is what I called it. They didn't like that. So they took the video down. I had to take the bits with the movie out, and then I just put a bunch of dick jokes in there. And I griped about it on social media. Pick an outlet that I had at the time. I griped about it on social media because this some bull. One of the filmmakers, because I know mostly filmmakers on social media, was listening. Eventually, this person made some wildly extreme political comments about violence against people that he didn't like because that's not allowed. Now, I spent 10 years of my life defending freedom. You want to express your opinion, I don't have to agree with you, and I can call you an idiot. But as soon as you start calling for violence, it's not allowed. So, I very politely, I know it's hard to believe, I was polite. Very politely tried to set him straight. Oh, a tirade of baseless accusations of incest and juvenile insults. Later, and if some of his brain-dead followers decided to join in, and then they all blocked me before I had a chance to say anything. Not like I was going to, but they did. Mm-hmm. Problem. He knew about my tirade about copyright strike. And I had covered 7 of his movies. So he just decided to teach me a lesson. And I had the email actually saved for a while, but I had 12 copyright strikes because some of his friends made some movies that I had covered. I didn't know that, but then all those came in like a day. I didn't know you could do that. And they took all the videos down, including the one, was it an airsoft replica AR-15 from the scene in Blow a Kiss, where we were modifying it. I thought I had that saved. I wish I did. Apparently I'm wrong because it's gone forever now. But all of those videos, the tangent talks that were still up there, the reviews from 5 years ago, I call this whole event The Purge, and it's a bit of a curse and a gift. The curse is there was well over 600 videos I had worked 5 years to make. Gone. I had to choose which ones to remake. I had to cherry pick because some of them were just so mediocre it's not even worth going back to. Some of them were so bad it's not worth going back to, and some of them were so good, like I mentioned several times, Tokyo Living Dead Idol, the Serial Rabbit movies. I have to talk about these again. This is the whole reason I'm here. The gift of it is that in the very beginning, I didn't like the way the videos were put together. I didn't like the animation. It was absolute I'm only using Windows Paint, and I didn't figure out how to use the preformed shapes for the everything. And it looked like garbage. And wherever it ended up getting mentioned, I was driving semis at the time. You didn't have to try too hard to hear the other engines. And at some point, I bumped my microphone or something. There's a switch on it that does this. I don't know which one. There's only 2. It sounded like it was inside of this can. And it bugged the piss out of me, but I didn't know how to fix it. I eventually fixed it. I don't know how I fixed it. And also, I hadn't really gotten my recording voice down. I was inadvertently trying to sound like an old-timey newscaster. I don't remember doing it on purpose, but that's what was happening.
It happens.
And I was still trying to get away from the original version of saying everything. So I would put a lot of detail in there. And it started to run on a bit. Now I can go back to movies I did in the very beginning, like recently I did Jaws, the Korean, basically Jaws but with the giant boar, and Danger Dolls, which is one of my favorite films of all time. I have a lot of those, but I've seen 4,000 movies. And I could do them right this time. Also, with the clips, trying not to show too much. 2 to 3 second clips, just because I don't want to have like a jump edit in there because it's kind of disorientating in a shorter clip, and 30 to 50 seconds. When I did Death of Superman, which is an animated film I didn't recover but highly recommend. If you read the comics, you're going to want to watch it. You get to watch Wonder Woman beat the out of Doomsday. It's worth every penny. Okay, yeah, admittedly she doesn't win because it's Superman's story, but yeah. I went on for about a minute and a half on that thing. Try finding 2 to 3 second clips in an hour and 15-minute movie to cover a minute and a half. Now, what I do is I record myself drawing my minimalistic version of the cover art or the poster, or sometimes I have to just make it up as I go along. Recently, I did Rest in Pieces from, we were talking before about Dustin Mills. He made Rest in Pieces, a very Tarantino? Who the fuck is that guy? Tarantino-style film, complete with a mystery briefcase. And I had to make up a cover because it hasn't actually been released yet. I record that, and it takes me as little as 3 minutes or as long as 15. And then I speed it up to match however long I was talking. Yeah. I can go on and on. I just did a film called Reborn from 2016, a Japanese movie. I was telling you, basically Japanese John Wick, except this guy raped John Wick.
That's right. I did look it up, and I put it in my Amazon Prime queue.
I went on for about a minute and 37 about that thing. If I had to do clips, not going to work. If it's an action film, a horror film, a science fiction film, a fantasy film, at least I'll have the vistas and the action and the horror. I did a film called Lion Killer. I haven't redone it. I was thinking about redoing it, but it's a drama. Dim Sum Funeral, starring our favorite Bai Ling and a few others. I mean, Kelly Hughes in there, Russell Wong. But it's a drama. I'm trying to find 30 to 50 seconds of this. It's going to be people going yibbity 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 yibbity, maybe some walking yibbity that, and with no audio. It just doesn't work. Now I'm gone for as long as I fucking want. I was thinking about redoing the entirety of the Godzilla franchise just because now I don't have to limit myself. An unexpected blessing, to be sure. Yes, I miss being able to show people. It was like, hey, the explosions look like absolute garbage because it's the same explosion every time. I could show you that. I could do the little like winks and stuff. I was never shy about putting a little peek in there. I love those shots. Why? I don't know. Yeah. I just do.
And well, there's and having been on the side of that, and not necessarily always the copyright strikes, but some of the copyright claimants. There's a company, Orchard, that protects that does that.
Is that the one that Jade is with?
Yes.
I remember hearing about it. I was like, how does that?
And that's
how?
I have and there's two particular cases. There's Dog's Life, where I have signed contracts from Capone for all the rap music, all the music that's in there. He's given us that permission. And in Sierra Rabbit 3, we've got Jade's concert.
It's his original song.
It's his original song.
I love that song. It stuck in my head every time.
He wrote it. He sings it. That's his 100%.
That's talent right
there. But they are represented, quote unquote, just in the digital domain by this company. And when we put them up on YouTube, blammo, we get them. And I've asked them about it, but they're like, well, yeah, that's what they do. It's like, okay, so I guess you're not going to help, and I'm not going to push it. It's like, okay, enough said. I won't deal with it. But it's nothing frustrating than have to be in the right, to have the legal right, and then somebody goes and does that, and you have no recourse. Because the first time that happened was with Dog's Life, and I have the rights, and I sent it, and there's no way for you to upload your PDF, or there's no way to upload your document that shows it. You just have to sit, click, say, hey, this is what I've got, or hey, I've got the rights, and just the little one paragraph that you get to say, and then whoever filed it gets to decide one way or the other. And I have to do that with every one of those royalty-free songs that I use, music tracks that I use, whether it's from Audio Blocks or Pond 5. 90% of the time, when I put it up on YouTube, I get not the strike, but I get the claim, and I have to go and I have to say, I own this because I'm an Audio Block subscriber. It is this track number. And then I have to wait 30 days sometimes for them to just completely ignore it and it falls off. Or a week for the person to actually get back and give it the okay. That's why with the saga, as we're doing it, I post them 30, 40 days ahead of time and put them on premiere status. So that they trigger that algorithm and they get the claimant, and then I can cancel it so that by the time it's ready to premiere, the claim is gone. But there's nothing more frustrating because YouTube doesn't get, like you said, it's the same thing for a claim as it is with the strike. That when you submit your claim or your dispute and it comes back and they say, hey, no, they say it's valid, you have that one more chance to go try. And YouTube, especially for guys like us who have 30 views per video or something like that. I
wish.
We don't have any recourse because YouTube doesn't give a about us.
You could hire a lawyer, but you're going to have to hire a lawyer that could take on YouTube.
Yeah.
And they're not even the copyright holder. I mean, the copyright holder could be like the only claims I've ever had. I don't want to call them out by name because it's going to make them look bad. I'm sure somebody somewhere was just watching a computer screen and doing their job, and I'm not going to hold them against them because the movies that they did claim it on, masterpiece. The one with the guy with the chip on his neck, and he all of a sudden starts doing the kung fu.
Yes.
It's like, I love that movie. But probably just gave it away, but...
This is where it does get kind of even though we're in the right, the thing is, fair use is a defense. So they, as the copyright holder, still can sue us or go after us. And the fair use is our defense against that.
In court, which
In
is where I
court.
was going with that.
Yeah.
You have to be able to hire a lawyer that can take them on.
Yeah.
And if it's YouTube and, to name a name, Paramount or Disney, good luck. You're gonna need the GDP of Africa to take them on, and you're probably still gonna lose. Because who the hell are you? Who the hell am I? They're them.
Yeah. So it's a difficult game to play. It's one that you have to deal with. You know, like I said, even when you're in the right, you're getting these strikes, and when you have a platform like YouTube that just doesn't care,
It's frustrating because they said here's this hurdle, here's this loophole, here's this step 1, step 2, step 3. Here's how you do it right. Okay, you did all of that. Great. Still go f yourself.
Yeah.
Why do you even want to try at that point? You might as well just find a big tittied cousin and teach her how to play Halo or Minecraft or whatever the is popular these days, because she'll do all the work and you'll make all the money.
And you'll still get people striking them because there are copyright trolls out there
Yeah.
that will do that and just grab that revenue from you with no, and they have no right to it. I mean, there are people that will use royalty-free music and then make their own song and then submit that, and that gets pulled in their advert. So I may have purchased the rights from the same person he did that are non-exclusive rights, so we both have the rights to use it, but he made a little change to it or something, and he's using the same music, but he's now got his voice in it or something. Now he's set that up on the YouTube Content ID system, and now he gets to strike me. That's why like audio blocks, I'll give them their credit. There have been 2 times where I've used some of the music that I've got with my subscription from them, and I got a dispute, or I got a claimant, and I disputed it. I said, "Hey, I'm with YouTube. I'm with an audio block subscription," and it came back. Oh, they said they said they don't care. It's your dispute's denied. Well, where do I go from there? Fortunately, Audio Blocks and Pond5 and other people are getting to that position now. I go to the Audio Blocks website and I file my claim through them, and Audio Blocks jumps on them. They say, "Well, get us the claimant, get us this," and Audio Blocks goes and does it all for you and fights that dispute. So
But that's relying on good-natured people doing good-natured work in a world where that doesn't get you a goddamn thing. So why would you bother? And then there's trolls out there that, as we were mentioning again off camera, people want to be famous, they want to be rich, they don't want to do the work to earn it. They just want to have it. And that's what's happening now with the copyright trolls, with some of the channels out there that, why are you even making money doing this? It's like, how? Who is watching this? It's probably bots and such. But that's what you want to be known for. What happens if YouTube suddenly stops being a thing? All video platforms and social media platforms somehow, I don't even care how this could happen, let's just say it did, where are you going to go from there? The people that are Instagram influencers, what happens when you can't do that anymore? They start working, they get a job, good on you, but they start working at a fast food joint. They start flipping burgers and serving drinks and making sandwiches because they don't have a marketable skill set.
Except to bitch and moan in front of a camera.
With their titties out.
That's where we're going wrong, is we're going to have viewers. I haven't brought my tits out.
You don't have tits. You're a stick with the goatee of a 13-year-old
Well,
boy.
I'm just going to start hiring actresses to just sit behind us, topless, or just in a bikini strap, and they can just sit behind
because
us.
they'll be behind this thing, right? So they could have pants on, but actually be topless, pasties just for their own modesty. But you're always just, your arms just in the way. Just like, oh, I'm sitting in a perfectly normal position. Look at this right here. You could do it. I've seen the women you put in your movies. You've got them in a bunker somewhere in Michigan. Just get them in here. It'll be fine. Pay them. Give them a slice of pizza.
You'd be surprised what pizza will get you.
I mean, I probably would, but I don't want to actually go down that avenue.